Hi, this is Chris Asltey from Xentrix, and you're listening to The Sick Room, and you're about to hear our album, For Whose Advantage.
I'm currently joined on the phone here by a musician who once fronted a legendary thrash metal band, which at one time stood out as the best in England had to offer, releasing those classic albums you know as Shattered Existence and For Whose Advantage, along with Parker classic Ghostbusters. And this band's legacy still lives on through the underground thrash metal movement today, and there will never be another band quite like Xentrix. Chris Asltey, former vocalist, guitarist, joins me on the show. Chris, thank you for taking the time out to chat with us. How are you?
I'm very well. My pleasure to join you. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. So, did you ever expect that this legacy you left behind would still be continuing in 2013?
Not really, if I'm honest. It's always a surprise that so many years on, people are still interested, and it's fantastic.
And how do you feel now that it is 2013 and there are still fans of this band whispering Xentrix and still having music being played on the radio? Did you ever expect that, you know, radio would even be playing it today?
No, I mean, it's always a shock to us. It must be probably 18 years or something like that since I left the band, so it's a long time ago. And I'm amazed that people still listen like they do. Incredible.
And for those unfamiliar with Xentrix, can you elaborate on how the band first got together?
It just kind of evolved, really. I mean, I was in a band right from school, and I was always in a band, and it just, over time, people joined and left, and we ended up with Xentrix as we were. In, I think it was 88 when we really, things started to take off us, which makes 2013 now Silver Jubilee, so 25th anniversary. So, yeah, I mean, it just evolved through friends, and then I was introduced to Christian, or Stan as we know him, who played guitar, and he joined, you know, and then the final member to join in 88 was Macca, bass player, and we got in touch with him to an advert in Kerrang magazine, and then the lineup stayed the same ever since.
And based on that, Xentrix didn't really come that well known until until Shattered Existence and For Whose Advantage was released. How much credit do you give Roadrunner for realising the band at the time's potential to become the known name it is amongst the thrash metal movement now?
We give a lot of credit to Roadrunner, Mark Palmer from Roadrunner. We're still very good friends with Mark and speak to him regularly, and you know, I think we owe an enormous amount to the fact that he recognised that we had something to offer. I think possibly before we even knew we had something to offer, and he gave us this incredible opportunity, and we'll always be very grateful to Mark and to Roadrunner for that.
And what were some of your first musical memories growing up as a child that may have developed your interest to want to be the frontman of a heavy metal band?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I never really wanted to be a frontman. It's the classic situation where you're in a band and you play guitar, and because I owned a mic, I ended up singing. And we went through this whole phase of trying to find other singers, and everyone always saying, well, no, we prefer it when you sing. So I was a reluctant frontman, but now I look back on it, you know, I do enjoy it.
And now, when you came into the writing For Whose Advantage, I mean, what did you hope to achieve this time after Shattered Existence was released? I mean, the songs are more technically advanced than Shattered Existence and had more depth in the actual writing of the album. And it seemed as though you were making a statement with this album.
Yeah, it's a strange one, because when we look back at that now, it's almost like we felt we were expected to make a statement. I don't think we really had a statement to make as such. I think we were looking for content. And because that was just the thing you did. You wrote technical metal, and you wrote about deep things. So it was a challenge for us, because obviously Shattered Existence, we'd had a long time to write that album, and when we'd finished touring after the album came out, we kind of sat down and thought, oh right, we've got to actually write an album now. And it was interesting, but it was very technical. We enjoyed, you know, we're a guitar band, and it's about playing technical guitar stuff, and we wrote stuff that was hard to play and fun to play. So we always worked on the principle that if we enjoyed playing it, somebody out there would enjoy listening to it.
Cool. And what was For Whose Advantage based on lyrically? Because I understand it's actually a rather interesting story for those that didn't pick it up.
Well, if I can remember, it's a long time ago. No, the idea with For Whose Advantage is, and you can tell this from when you look at the album cover, it's the whole corporate West goes out to take advantage of third world countries, really, with the sleeve is there with the businessman with his mirrored shades on and his hands made of money reaching out. But when you look at the back, it's looking out over desolate wasteland with pipelines and pylons running through it. And that was the idea of For Whose Advantage. It was kind of posing the question, who's benefiting from that? I think it's made to look like the third world countries are benefiting from Western investment when realistically the West are just raping them. That was the idea.
That's cool.
Sounds a bit deep when you say it out loud.
It does. And how difficult was it being another band out of England and trying to be successful when at that time the scene was just so oversaturated with bands?
I don't know. We never felt the scene was really oversaturated in the UK. We kind of very much felt we were part of a global thrash scene, though realistically it was American and a few British bands. So we never felt it was an oversaturated market, but we did manage to time the whole thing just to get to be there around the demise of rock music, in the kind of early 90s where the whole rock scene died for a bit. So we placed ourselves well to be there for that to happen.
And why did you leave Xentrix after the Ken album? Were you just not interested anymore?
No, it wasn't. It was it wasn't that I wasn't interested. I was disillusioned, I think, is the honest answer. We'd done nothing but play in the band for quite a few years by the time we'd done Kin, and it became apparent that the music scene was different then. That all the venues that we used to play had gone; they'd all closed, and people were either into very, very extreme metal, the kind of stuff that's even too extreme for me, or Nirvana, or dance music, like kind of house music as it was then. And the whole kind of heavy metal and thrash metal scene had totally disappeared. And there was nothing left for us to be part of. We also got us at the time when we really needed to be making some money out of it. And we were seeing fewer opportunities to make money and fewer opportunities to play. And, I didn't leave the band because I didn't like it anymore. I'd done nothing else, wanted nothing else out of life other than to play in a heavy metal band. And I was playing music with my best friends. There's nothing better to do. But there was no reason to carry on anymore. It became about the fact that we weren't earning money and we didn't get the opportunities we expected. And for me, there was only one thing left to do, and that was get a job and be a normal guy.
Now, I kind of promised myself I wouldn't ask you this question, but there have been a few.
Oh, go on, you're going to ask about Ghostbusters, aren't you?
Yeah. It had been a popular question amongst the listeners. And what I was going to say is, you released the Ghostbusters single. Was that a publicity stunt, or were you just having fun with it and didn't expect that it would actually become a popular song amongst the metal fans? We always looked for interesting cover versions to do, and we did it very early on in Xentrix. We played it live a few times and did it for a bit of a giggle. Then when we did the Radio 1 rock show with Tommy Vance, we were short of tracks to do, and it was actually Mark at Roadrunner was saying, "We'll do Ghostbusters. It'll be funny." So because we didn't have any new tracks and we'd played the old tracks, we decided, well, what the hell, let's do Ghostbusters, it'll be fun. And then after that, it was suggested that we released it. And it just kind of found its own momentum. We still didn't expect it to really be big, not that it was big in real terms, but big in our terms, until we let it be known through the press what the sleeve design was going to be, which was obviously the Ghostbusters 2 image, but with the middle finger instead of the 2 symbol, and that's when Columbia Pictures got involved, threatened to sue us, and so I think at the time there was a period when we were a bit sick of Ghostbusters, and
because we saw ourselves as quite a serious band, really. And then there was this one joke song that we had hanging around our necks. But realistically, it did us a lot of good. It got us a lot of press we'd never have got otherwise. And people remember us for it. I think there are people that remember us for Ghostbusters that if it wasn't for that song, wouldn't remember us at all. So we can't be too bitter about the whole Ghostbusters thing.
And I think it was 2006 you guys opened for Slayer. Did you ever expect or hope for an Xentrix reunion at that point?
Well, I'm slightly embarrassed to say, on Wikipedia, it says that we opened for Slayer, and we never did. Well, it's on Wikipedia that we opened for Slayer at Wembley Arena, I think, but it's not true. We never did it. I don't know who's put that on there, but no, that gig never happened. In our minds, the biggest shows we ever did, you know, we played Hammersmith Odeon in London twice, once supporting Test in Sepultura, and they were outstanding moments in our career. Especially, you know, I will never forget that when we sound checked and when we played, all of Testament were side stage watching, and you know, I had a word with Chuck Billy, who's still a hero of mine to this day. You know, that kind of thing we never expected to happen because Testament were our favourite band at the time. You know, so it's those were very, very special moments for us. But after the Slayer thing, how that ever got on Wikipedia, I'll never know.
And do you have any anecdotes or hilarious moments from any of your shows that you can share with the listeners of the show?
Oh, you've sprung that one on me. That's a tough one on the spot. I may have to, if something springs to mind, I may drag you back to that if I may, but nothing I can just jump on right this second.
Other than the Ghostbusters thing.
Yeah, I mean the Ghostbusters. We never got tired of the whole Ghostbusters sleeve situation. You know, we all the sleeves had been printed before it was withdrawn. So when we did the Ghostbusters tour, we used to throw out 12-inch sleeves because we couldn't sell them. It never said we couldn't give them away. So the chaos at every gig as we threw out all the band's sleeves, well, it was always incredible how everybody just went insane trying to get the sleeves, and that'll always be a great.
Now the other question I have here is, since we don't want to take up too much more of your time, but how would you describe your career with Xentrix in one word?
How would we describe what? Sorry, I missed that.
How would you describe your entire career with Xentrix in one word?
Oh, you're springing the difficult ones on me now.
So you couldn't...
Unexpected.
Well, that's awesome. And we won't take up too much more of your time, but I'm sure this won't be the last time we talk. Have you got any last...
No, I hope not.
Definitely not.
News I'd like to share with you, actually, if I may.
Go for it.
Something you probably won't be expecting. I don't know if you know, we did some reunion gigs about 6-7 years ago, because we were meant to be doing a UK tour with Testament, and all the dates got changed and it never happened, but we did a few little local gigs then. Recently over, this is an exclusive for you, by the way. We've recently, over the last few weeks, been rehearsing again.
Wow.
And
yes,
we've just had confirmation that we're going to be doing the UK dates with Creator and Evil in April.
God, I wanted to be at that show. There are not many bands stand out from the UK, and Xentrix and Evil together would just fucking go off. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. We've not seen Evil for a while, and we know them anyway. We played with them when we did the reunion gigs last time. They supported us then. It was before they really took off. So yeah, I thought I would share that with you. That you're the first person I've told. Many of my friends don't even know that we're doing that yet. Well, thank you very much for that.
Excellent. Well, we're just putting together the new Facebook page and Twitter account and all that kind of stuff now. So hopefully that should be there by then as well. Awesome. And the website's going back together, Xentrix.co.uk. So that's being sorted out now as well as we speak. Awesome. Well, you have actually a shitload of fans here in New Zealand, so hopefully now with this reunion we'll be able to get Xentrix down here, finally. Well, that would be fantastic. I would be a very happy man if I could come back to New Zealand again.
That'll be awesome. All right, and maybe we could have another chat about this reunion show.
Yeah, no problem at all. No problem at all.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time, Chris. We won't take up too much more. I really appreciate this conversation, and we'll definitely be in touch with you, mate.
That's great. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, cheers for your time, Chris. I'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.
See ya.